Hi everyone, Janie here, and today I'm going to be making a beautiful holiday light up easel card using these products from InLoveArts and Pear Press. I'll be using some papers from this absolutely gorgeous scrapbook paper pack from InLoveArts called Sparkle. And each of the papers have such a beautiful sparkly look to them and are perfect for any holiday projects. And these are the papers that I'll be using. For this card, I'm using a gold and white theme, and I thought that these two papers were beautiful and elegant and went together perfectly. Also from InLoveArts, I'll be using this elegant Christmas candle cutting die. This is perfect for any holiday card, no matter what holiday you celebrate. And as you can see, around the edges, those openings are perfect for weaving a ribbon through if you would like. And then I'll be using these products from Pear Press that you recently saw me share in a haul video. And today you'll see me use the world's best foam tape, which is repositionable for 30 minutes and becomes permanent in 24 hours, which makes it a perfect foam tape. And of course, since this is a light up card, I'll be using either the easy lights that have 3 lights attached, or the one light, which is just what it says, one light. And you'll find out later which one I decide to use. And I'll also be using the press, stamp, and die bundle, which happens to be perfect for not only light up cards, but any interactive card. And last but not least, I'll be using Recollections White Gold Shimmer cardstock because I think it will pair perfectly with the white and gold theme of the card, and also the shimmer adds to the elegance. Okay, let's get started making this card. To start off, I'm using the InLoveArts Christmas Candle die with the white gold shimmer cardstock, and I'll be putting that through my Sizzix Big Shot Switch die cutting machine. And I love that reverse button. And as always, I love to show you how beautifully it cuts and how easily all of those pieces pop right out. And just look at how beautiful that is. And by the way, I'm hanging on to the piece that came out of the candle and another little piece of the candle that didn't make it into this picture, but I will be using both of those. I'm also saving the little stars that popped out of the die cut because I'm sure I'll find a use for those, and I hate letting anything go to waste. Okay, so here I have cut the paper and a piece of cardstock down to 4 1/4 inches by 5 1/2 inches, and I've glued them together to make it sturdier since I will have the light up mechanism behind it. So I'm going to be making this a light up card, and I want the light to show through where the flame of the candle is. And so what I'm going to do to make that happen is I'm going to line this up on here, and I'm going to take a pencil and just fill in that little space right there in the middle. Okay, and so I can still see that. And then I'm going to use this set from Pear Press that has these stamps with the push and the pull and the scratch off and everything, and that came with these little cutting dies right here, and included in that were these little flame pieces. And where did I set it? There it is. I'm going to be using this one. And I decided on that size because I lined it up behind this flame, and I think it's going to be perfect. Now, I won't be able to show you this on camera, but I'm going to show you right here that, whoops, sorry, I can't get my arm over here all the way. As you guys know, I've had rotator cuff surgery, and so I have limited range of motion. But I'm lining that up right over that. So let me get it up here to you, right over that spot, and I'm going to go run that through my die cutting machine, and I'll be right back. And there it is, as you can see, cut out, and that's where the light is going to shine through. See, that is going to be absolutely perfect. Okay, before I go any further with my card, I wanted to show you that there are several options for this. And one of them is weaving ribbon in and out all the way around. And I've already started that so that you can see what that looks like. Another thing that I thought of doing was coloring the leaves using my tri-blend markers, and I am not going to do that, but I just wanted you to know that that is an option. If I was using different background paper, I would probably do that, but I've kind of decided that I want to stick with the white and gold look, and so I'm not going to really be adding any other color to this, but I wanted you to see that that is an option. Okay, another option is you could leave this all open. Let me put it on here with all of that background showing through like that, and that would be pretty. But I also thought about saving the pieces that came out and putting them back in, and because there are the cut lines there, it definitely separates the pieces. And hold on one second here, because I also have the little piece that goes in right up there. Okay, let me see if I can do this without making a mess, because I want to get it close enough for you to see. See the lines, you know, definitely, what is the word I'm looking at? It defines it. And so, you know, there is that option. You can do that, and then you can color these a slightly different color, and actually that's what I'm going to be doing, as you will see. And then of course there is making this a light up card like I'm going to do. But if you didn't want to make it a light up card, you can definitely color the flame and then color the paper behind it with, you know, a different color for the flame to give the flame some life, some texture. So anyways, there's just a variety of things that can be done with this particular cutting die. I love all of the options. And so now you're going to see what I'm going to be doing for this card. So as you can see, I did use my Spectrum Noir Tri-Blend markers to color the flame and the very top of the candle where it's dripping down. And now it's time to adhere those things to the card, and I'll be doing that using Beacon 3-in-1 glue and 3M multi-purpose adhesive spray. I like the spray adhesive for full coverage when I'm dealing with a die that has intricate areas, and I like to use the Beacon 3-in-1 in strategic locations to give me some wiggle room to get things straight. And now that the front of the card is ready, I'll be making the base of the easel card by cutting a piece of 8.5 inch by 11 inch cardstock in half, giving me a 4 1/4 by 11 inch piece for the card base. And I cut the other piece in half because I needed a 4 1/4 by 5.5 inch piece for the back of the card front. And I'm taking the piece that is 4 1/4 by 11 inches, and I am scoring that at 5.5 inches, and again at 2 3/4 inches. And then folding on the score lines to create the easel, which kind of looks like a tent, like this. Okay, so now I am ready to get started on the easy lights, and I decided to go with the easy lights that have 3 lights as opposed to the easy lights that just have 1 light. And the reason is because, let me pull this out really quick so I can show you. Okay, first of all, you break these off, but I'm not going to break these off right now. But what I was going to show you is the light is right here. Let me get it up here where you can see it. There's the light, and this is the push button, which would mean if I get the light lined up, let me see if I can line that up there, get the light lined up, then the push button is going to be up here, and that's not where I want it. I want the push button to be down here. And so I decided I'm going to go ahead and use the 3 lights, and let me show you how that works. Okay, so the easy lights, which I've already tore the packaging here, so let me set that aside. They come like this, and you just break it off, just like that. And then you very carefully get the lights out, like so. And so this is what it looks like. This is where the battery goes. This is the push button. And these are the 3 lights that I'm actually going to be putting together. I could have cut one off or two off, but I just knew I would ruin it if I did that. So I wanted to show you that. And then these are the batteries that come with it. So let me grab one of the batteries here. And they're taped on nice, so they're not going to go anywhere. There we go. Okay, so I've got that ready. And let's see here. What side does the battery go in on? I'm not even reading the directions. I could be putting the battery in upside down for all I know. Oh, no, there we go. See? They light up. There's the push button right there, and that'll be hidden, behind the front of the card, and they push on it, and it will light up just like that. Oops. One thing I wanted to show you is the lights are those yellow things. So you want to make sure that those are facing the front of your card and not the back of your card. Okay, so normally I would be doing this next part on the actual card base, but since I'm doing an easel card, I can't do that. So I'm going to be using this piece of cardstock to add the lights to, and it will cover up everything on the back so that when it's on the easel, it won't look funny. You'll just see that solid piece, where if I didn't have that there, you would see the wires and the lights, and so I don't want that to happen. So I just wanted to explain to you that normally I would be doing this on the front of the card base, but for right now, I'm going to be doing it on this piece of cardstock. There's more than one way to do this, and I've done it before where I have attached the lights and the tape to this back part, which would be, the front of the card base, and then I would be putting that over the top. And if I was going to do that, I would have to line this up and mark where that opening is in the flame. But I am not going to do that, and so normally also I would put a piece of vellum behind the opening, or you could put acetate, and in this case I cannot find my vellum, so I'm using a piece of tissue paper that I found, and I'm going to attach that right behind the flame so that the lights aren't so obvious. It'll be more of a glow. So I'm going to be back when I have this done, because as most of you know, I really can't do a lot on camera right now because of my shoulder. I don't have a lot of range of motion here. So I will be back to show you what I did. So first I used double-sided tape to hold the battery pack, as I call it, in place so that the button for the light is where I need it to be. And I used double-sided tape because later I'll be using that to adhere it to the back piece. And I used Scotch tape to make sure that the lights are where I want them to be and to hold the wires out of the way. And then I used the world's best foam tape to keep everything the same height as the battery pack. And I kept that near the edge so the battery would be accessible in case it needed to be replaced at some time. And of course I made sure that everything was still working and in the right place. And then I removed all of the backing from the foam tape and placed that onto the other piece of cardstock that I'm using as the backing. And as difficult as it was for me to do on camera with my arm, I wanted you to see that the foam tape is truly repositional, which I find absolutely amazing. Well, everything is looking good so far. Okay, I love this. I heat embossed press here using the stamp from this set, and I cut it out with the circle die that comes with it. And that is the perfect little button to add to the front of my card. So right now I'm going to add the bow and the press here, and then we're going to move on to the rest of the card. So the first thing I'm going to do is glue a piece of that beautiful scrapbook paper to the inside of the card, and then I'm going to take that beautiful card front and glue that to the easel of the card base. And to do that, you just put glue on the front flap. And I like to make sure that there's plenty of glue, especially when this is going to be an interactive card, because I want to make sure that it stays secure. And then I attach the card top to that piece, and it's good to lay the card flat to make sure that all of the edges are even. I also like to make sure that it is securely attached, and then I open it up to see how it looks. And I think it looks good. Now here I have the piece that I'm going to be using for the stopper, and also the piece with the sentiment on it that I'll be putting inside the card. And both of those were stamped and heat embossed, and I am so sorry I wasn't able to show you that on camera. And again, I'm going to be using the world's best foam tape, and this time I'll be using it for the stopper. And I am so thankful it's repositionable, because for some weird reason I never get it where I want it on the first try. And by the way, there's no specific place to put the stopper. Some people like it closer to the front, some people like it further to the back. It just depends on what looks good to you. And next I'm gluing a sentiment on the inside, and that's another thing that comes down to your preference, because sometimes I put it on the inside, sometimes I put it on the bottom, and I've even put it on the back before. So wherever it works best for you is where it goes. And here is my finished card. I love light up cards, and I absolutely love how this one turned out. Let me know below in the comments what you think, and also let me know if you have ever tried making a light up card, and if you haven't, I will have a link here on the end of the screen to a better tutorial. And of course, I'll have links below in the description box to the products that I used from InLoveArts, as well as a 25% off discount code should you decide to shop there, and also links to the products I used from Pear Blossom Press. Thank you all so much for stopping by, and happy crafting, everyone. Bye-bye.